Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am BorderWise and welcome to the video on torpedo defense that I'm making. Now, as you can probably see on screen, torpedoes, especially when fired from submarines, are a bit of an issue in this game. And by issue I mean they are very simple, very effective weapons, and there are very few things that can counter them. Now, the main point of this video is that I found a nice, cheap, reliable way to defend oneself against torpedoes, well, acoustic torpedoes at the very least, and I found it on the internet on a video made by another YouTuber called Stealth17 Gaming. But I didn't learn it from what was in the video, I learned it from the top comment by a user called Froid. Thank you, Froid. But that's not the method I'm going to show off first. I am going to show off other methods first. And what you're looking at right now is one of the easier Onyx warships, a Capital, having quite a horrible time with one of my craft. This is one of the submarines I have built. It's called the Marine Iguana, and honestly it's not that good. It could be a lot better. And if you're wondering why the thing looks so weird and why it has, like, feet, it's controlled through Daddy Blades, and it used to be a ship. I converted it into a submarine. But, in any case, let's get on with the actual discussion of torpedo defense and what works against them. So, the Capital was already showing off one of them, but we're going to start with a different one, and it's the obvious one. Obvious one being, don't be in the water. Yeah, I probably didn't even need to demonstrate this. I mean, come on. It's so straightforward. If you have something that flies or that hovers over the water, torpedoes can't hit it. Like, it's, yeah, self-evident. Don't need to spend that much time on that. The other method is what the Capital was showing, but is better shown off by this ship, the Kingstead. Kingstead is one of my favorite ships to shoot at, I should mention, because my goodness, this thing is a nice, reliable, tough target. So you see here, this thing's well armored. In fact, pretty damn well armored, really. There's about, on the sides here, there's about, looks to be about 3 layers of metal, which is quite a lot, actually. This thing is not easy to sink, especially since I think they've updated this craft, and that it now has PID systems on it. These little things keeping it steady in the water, and also, I believe, maintaining its altitude, so it doesn't sink, and it doesn't rise out of the water too much. In any case, torpedoes, especially the ones being fired by the Iguana right now, tend to have, well, not a lot of trouble, it's just that it takes a while for them to get through really thick armor. So yeah, it's not bad damage, but it's going to take a lot more than that. Like blocks falling off, all that good stuff. But the Kingstead, this is, I think, second volley, and it's down 1% health. That's pretty impressive for the armor of this thing. So, that's defense number 2. So, you have altitude, you have armor, but you also have speed. And if I am correct, one of the Lightning Hood ships should be... There it is. So, the Sea Raptor, as I believe, has quite a bit hanging in the water. But it's fast. It is quite fast. You see that? That torpedo just whiffed. Of course, it's not exactly a completely fair test. See, look at that. So any ship Especially like a surface displacement vessel that is moving at over 35, but honestly this one's working also quite well. Anything moving close to 30 meters per second can dodge torpedoes, particularly if it moves erratically. And another defense is simply to shoot the thing that is throwing torpedoes at you. Iguana didn't like that. Iguana really did not like that. So yeah, so that's 3 defenses so far, is altitude, like have your ships fly, armor, just be really tough, and speed. Now, I'm just going to restart the designer because torpedoes hang around in the water for a really long time. So those are all passive defenses, they're all attributes of the craft. Where this falls short, though, is with altitude, well, that's floor's defense anyway, you have to worry about other things if your ships fly. Armor can only last for so long, because eventually torpedoes will get through, particularly if they're really big ones. They will blow off huge chunks of the ship if you let them. And speed, well, speed is reliable, but it is possible to make very fast torpedoes that can catch them. So not ideal as well. So you need more active defenses. So, in lieu of that, we'll show off one thing that has caused me a lot of bother over the last time, the Banshee. Now this is just a regular difficulty steel strider ship, but it has a lot of torpedoes, and it has torpedo decoys. So I'm going to shamelessly throw the Marine Iguana against it again. In case you're wondering, the Marine Iguana is kind of an older build of mine. It's not really up to date, it's not ideal. I really should scrap it and just build a submarine from scratch. It would be more effective. But in any case, turn that off and set it rolling. And hopefully you should see that as it drops. Right in the back here, oh, it hasn't dropped yet. Right here, the Banshee has little missiles, sonar buoys, and ballast tanks. What those do is that when hostile torpedoes are coming in, they pop out the back, they float at a certain depth, and they distract them. Acoustic torpedoes will home in on sonar buoys. So that's one way to deal with torpedoes. Right there. I wonder if they're actually being dropped. Oh boy. You are a silly boy, you did not drop them. That is... oh, come on, guys. There they are, there they are. Now, if the Marine Iguana still has bloody torpedoes left, which it might do, it might not, you'll see that it could get distracted by these. It might not have any left. It might have gotten all of them blown up. It did get all of them blown up. Well, so much for that. So, back over here. Now I'll just show you... that was not a very good live demonstration, I have to say. You didn't actually get to see them pulled, but rest assured, they can get pulled. Emphasis on can get pulled. So, we're gonna go over here. Banshee looks really good in my fleet colors, by the way. Yeah, I'll get you out of the water. It even has a lamb or two. Meh. Bah! Lambs, get it? So in any case, where is it? I found it before. Ah yeah, it's near the back. So here are the sonar buoys as attached to the mainframe, and here are them in the back. See, they drop. And the problem with this method is that these things are not completely reliable. They can pull torpedoes, but in my testing, they don't always work. Especially if there's a lot of torpedoes in the water, you'll pull maybe, I don't know, a third of them, and the rest will still get through. And especially on a smaller craft like this, that is a real problem. Because, let's see, how big is this thing? The Banshee is less than 100 meters long and 30 meters wide, only 16 meters tall. That's not big. What's the volume? Volume is roughly like just short of 5,000. So this thing cannot afford to get hit by torpedoes, especially big ones. So, and the other disadvantage of using sonar buoys is that you have to futz around inside the ship. Where is it? Where is it? I just lost it again. It's so hard to keep track of these things. Where's you? Where's you? Damn, lost it. Where is it? Where is it? It was somewhere around here, I guess. This is the second time. I tried recording this video before, but my microphone was off stupidly, and I spent bloody ages trying to find where the friggin' sonar buoys on this thing are. I can't even remember. Oh, damn it. Oh, there they are. Whoops. Okay. So, you have to have these things, missile sonar buoy holders, attached to the mainframe, and that's a pain in the ass, which means you have to have at least a few of these things attached to the AI, connected, like via transmitters or through connectors. And the other thing is that you need a lot of general purpose processing cards, because these things eat up detection, well, they eat up processing power like you wouldn't believe. So 3 units of general processing power, that's not much. It's only 1 more than like a regular sonar, but you need a lot of these things. You really do. So that's 6 processing power being used essentially just to distract torpedoes. That's really their only job. Like they also can detect enemy vessels that are in the water, but mainly torpedo distractions. And I personally don't like this method, because you have to readjust your whole AI setup if you want to just install these things on a ship you already have. So I'm not a tremendous fan of this method. Get the hell out of your Banshee. We'll be back later to shoot you. So sonar decoys, yeah, and the other thing is that they only work on acoustic torpedoes, like laser guided or infrared torpedoes. Yet you need other things for that. So the other thing that can work is, where is it? Well, I'll show you with the thing that was shown before. Where are you, Bulwark? So, as you might have seen in my video on how to kill the Bulwark, LAMs can actually work pretty well, provided you use them with passive sonar. So if we throw in the Marine Iguana again, and you will see, as we saw in that video before, that the Bulwark will pop them. So there we go, lovely little torpedo volley. Passive sonar, and the lambs are going ham. And you go down here, yep, pop, 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 pop. So that is actually quite effective. There are ships in this game, the Bulwark among them, which are actually really hard to kill with torpedoes. Simply because that lamb system will just pop every single one of them before they even get close. Which is a bit of an issue, but it's one you kind of have to live with. And again, with passives, it requires passive sonar, which I believe on the Bulwark is right there. It's painted so you can't really see it, but it's right there. You can see acoustic torpedoes coming. And as you can see, the Bulwark's actually winning. The Iguana just repaired itself, but the Bulwark hasn't actually taken any damage yet, so that's another way to do it. The problem with the LAM system is that if you want to defend a submarine against torpedoes, it arguably doesn't work very well, because lasers are greatly weakened when passing through water. There is another craft, a Lightning Hood's craft actually, which I will show you right now. The submarine, and it is the hydrovolt. And the hydrovolt has a bunch of torpedoes, and it has torpedo distractions. Oh yeah, should mention that that whole buoy trick, the sonar buoy trick, you can put that on... You can combine that with missile interceptors to have something that draws torpedoes away and also destroys them. Or you can attach a propeller to it and send it, like, scuttling off into the distance, and it'll pull torpedoes after it. All variants on the same thing. But, so you see, this thing has lambs on it. Little lambs. And eventually, if we ever get to see the Iguana again... Yep, there we go. Lambs. So in this particular case, it's just that the lambs are not set up particularly well. They're missing a lot. But as you can see, it might just be that the hydrovolt's laser system isn't particularly powerful, but underwater, they just are so much weaker. So, lambs best used on surface ships, perhaps not on a submarine, unless it's a very powerful laser system. And also, lasers are expensive, and particularly if you just want to retrofit a ship to have good torpedo defense, that's what I wanted to do when I was looking up torpedo defense. You want to essentially slap something on that'll work. And also personally, I hate lasers. I still haven't figured them out properly yet, like lasercraft notwithstanding. So, I'll restart the designer again. So what did I find on the internet that finally satisfied me? Well, I will show you. Presently. Where is the Banshee? Banshee is right there. And I'm going to spawn one of my ships in now. One of the ones which I've spent a lot of time on this particular ship, and it's on the workshop, but this is the new, fresh, updated version, which I should probably update the workshop version, because this is way better ships, and it's the Crocodile. And we will see the results of this little torpedo counter, which is absolutely fantastic. I spawned it underwater. Go me! So you see, a lot of torpedoes are being flung into the water by the Crocodile and the Banshee. But what is this? Pop! You see that? Torpedoes popping torpedoes. I'm sorry, I am so freaking happy with this. So, as you can see, whole torpedo volleys not getting through there. I think that's one of mine again. Yep, there it is. So, the Banshee has quite a respectable torpedo volley. Let's see here if it's still intact. It has 4 in the front and 6 in the back. So that's a 10 torpedo volley, which it's not anywhere near to as excessive as some other Steel Strider's craft can get, but it's still pretty reasonable, and it is getting stopped completely by just one little turret. Of course, the Crocodile is having other issues, but it's all good in the hood. All good. Because again, Croc has a really good repair rate. And there you go, the Banshee's AI dead. Because my torpedoes are better than yours, Pally. But enough of me gloating, we should probably jump on here and show you what I found. Now, remembering Farkraj on his little YouTube comment on Stealth17 Gaming's video on torpedo counters, which is a completely different method. It's essentially laying an anti-torpedo minefield. This is the secret. This is the best torpedo defense I've found. And it's really simple, really beautiful, really cheap. Possibly a bit ammo hungry, but that's hardly an issue anyway. It's these little missiles, torpedo interceptors, with a anti-missile cannon controller. On the in this case, it's on the underside of the Crocodile, but if you have a submarine, you could put it on top. And these delightful little things are copied straight from the internet. So in the YouTube comment, this is the exact recipe for a torpedo interceptor. You've got a propeller in the back, you've got a fuel tank, fin is pretty much in the middle, ballast tank set to neutral, APN guidance, standard settings, and a missile interceptor. And that is combined with, once again, a passive sonar. So this passive sonar detects incoming acoustic torpedoes. These things then, well, passive sonar detects it, this little controller targets it, and these things get fired at it, and because of just the way they're set up, they've got a the APN guidance ensures a constant bearing, so these things only miss at really wide angles, which isn't a problem because this is on a turret. The turret will turn to face it, and you don't need ejectors, you just need this. And the whole setup is just about 842 materials. It's very little. And really, the amount of grief that this thing has now saved me is absolutely beautiful. The Crocodile used to be so vulnerable to torpedoes, and then I slapped this on the end of it. And I've also slapped it on my main battleship type thing, the Naga. And the Naga, I might have gone slightly overboard with it. It's like, it is quite a bit more expensive than it used to be now. So here is the Naga, and you can whoops. Wow, bad cameramanship. It's got one little shark popper, I call this the shark popper, right in the back, and it's got two more in the front. So there's one, and there's another. And the reason for that is because with my ships, because they run away from enemies a lot, they tend to get hit in the back by torpedoes. So if you put all your torpedo defenses, these little interceptor turrets in the back, if they miss any incoming torpedoes, they tend to get blown up, and then you have no torpedo defense. It's not good. So there's one, there's two more in the front, and yeah, it works extremely well. And to show that off, I'll show you what happens when it's up against the Spectre. Yet another Steel Strider's craft. Hopefully the Spectre has... The Spectre is a long way away, so it's a good opportunity to show these little torpedo things in action. Where is it? Whoop. Way over there, possibly a bit far away, but it gives you time to see torpedoes coming in. Doop. Now, if you thought the Banshee had a lot of torpedoes, the Spectre has more. So you see, in they come. Lots of torpedoes. That's 6 already, and there's more incoming. And look at that. And that's that whole volley taken care of. And the Spectre is currently getting... well, not destroyed. Yes, destroyed. And that's another thing about this particular method of torpedo defense. It's really good at long range. So as soon as enemy torpedoes are in the water, the passive sonar will spot it, and it will just crush it. And this thing... and the Spectre also has its own torpedo defense. It has the same kind of buoys that the Banshee has. And just because 3 of these turrets work so well. And, yep, that is another volley that completely failed to get through. And it just saves so much resource, because previously what I was doing, I was just tanking it, and which means that over the course of a battle, even though the Naga has pretty decent underwater armor, well, it's actually not that good, it's got a really good repair rate. What was happening was that just bit by bit the entire hull would get peeled off by explosions, which is less than ideal. Still need to work on radar defense, by the way. So yeah, so thank you Stealth17 Gaming for putting your own torpedo defense video on the internet, and thank you Farkraj for mentioning it on that video, because you have made me a very, very happy person. You can see right here, the Spectre is getting trashed by lovely cram cannons and my own torpedoes. So lovely. Incidentally, I kept mentioning laser-guided... Well, I mentioned like once laser-guided torpedoes. I'm gonna make a tutorial on those too, because I'm pretty sure those are impossible to stop. Which is, very good. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I will see you next time in From the Depths. Farewell!